You finally got that promotion. You are earning more money today than you were 5 years ago. Mathematically, you should be getting ahead. You should be building wealth. So why does it feel like you are barely keeping your head above water? If your pay evaporates the moment it hits your account, you are not imagining it, and you are not alone. We are constantly told the solution to financial stress is simply to earn more. But in Australia, right now, earning more triggers a trap that can leave you going backwards. Today on Behind the Money, we are pulling back the curtain on where your pay rise actually went. 3 forces are taking it. 1 from the Bureau of Statistics, 1 from the tax office, and 1 from you. And by the end, I'll show you the exact framework to keep the next one. Your first enemy is invisible. It is the difference between your nominal wage and your real wage. Here is the actual data, not a hypothetical. In its most recent wage price index, the Australian Bureau of Statistics reported that Australian wages grew 3.3% over the year. That is the number on your payslip. That is your nominal wage, and by that measure you had a good year. In that same period, the Consumer Price Index rose 3.8%. 3.3 against 3.8. Your pay rise was not a pay rise. It was a 0.5% pay cut. And the quarter before that, the gap was wider. Wages 3.3, prices 4.1, minus 0.8. Now 0.5% in 1 year sounds survivable. It is. That is exactly how this works. You never lose enough in any single year to be angry about it. So stack the years. Since the end of 2020, average Australian prices have risen 25%. Average Australian wages have risen 19%. That is a 6% hole, and you have been standing in it for 5 years. Australian real wages are now sitting around 4.8% below where they were before the pandemic. Across the OECD over that same stretch, real wages did not fall, they rose 1.5%. So this is not a global condition that everyone is sharing. Other countries recovered. We did not. And real household disposable income, what is actually left to you after tax and interest, is still 5.6% below its 2021 peak. You are making more dollars. Those dollars are doing less work. That is not a feeling. That is arithmetic. But here is where it gets genuinely strange, and this is the part almost nobody explains. Even that 3.8% inflation figure is understating what you are living through. And the Bureau of Statistics is not hiding it. They publish the proof. The CPI is a price index. It is not a cost of living index. And there is one enormous thing it leaves out. The CPI does not include mortgage interest charges. It does not include the cost of land or the price of an existing home. So when the Reserve Bank lifts the cash rate and your repayment jumps, the CPI barely notices. Your bank account notices immediately. So the Bureau publishes a second set of numbers for exactly this, the selected living cost indexes, and those do include your mortgage interest. In the year to the June quarter, the CPI rose 3.8%. Over that same year, the living cost indexes rose between 3.7 and 4.7%. Every household type at or above the headline. And the worst hit, employee households, people whose main income is a wage, yours. Their living costs rose 1.5% in a single quarter, the largest of any group in the country. The driver, mortgage interest charges, up 8.2% in 3 months, as the banks passed through the February, March, and May rate rises. So when the news tells you inflation is 3.8, and you think that is not what my life feels like, you are right. You are being measured by the wrong ruler. Now for the uncomfortable half, because the economy is only taking part of it. Welcome to the hedonic treadmill. In psychology, it is the observed tendency of humans to return to a stable level of happiness, no matter what good or bad thing happens to them. In finance, we call it lifestyle creep. Here is how it takes you. At $60,000 a year, you drove a reliable used car, you shared a place, and a nice dinner out was an event. Then you start earning $100,000. In Australia, full-time average ordinary earnings are now $2,051 a week. Call it $106,000 a year. You have arrived. And suddenly that used car feels old. You deserve an upgrade. You work hard, so you finance a new one. You upgrade the apartment. You stop looking at the right-hand column of the menu. Your baseline for normal has moved, and you are now voluntarily paying what I call the status tax. Society tells us that spending should reflect income. Earn six figures, look like you earn six figures. But looking rich and being wealthy are two completely different financial positions. Watch what it does. The Australian household saving ratio has fallen to 6.2%, down from 7%. As a nation, we now keep about 6 cents in every dollar we are paid. Person A earns $80,000, spends $60,000, $20,000 a year of freedom. Person B earns $150,000, spends $148,000, $2,000. Person B is living pay to pay at a higher price point, and if the job goes, person B with the car loan and the bigger mortgage is in far more danger than the person on 80. There is one more hand in your pocket, and this one is legislated: bracket creep. Australia has a progressive tax system. From the 1st of July, the brackets look like this: nothing to 18,200, 15% to 45,000, 30% to 135,000, then 37, then 45. Now credit where it is due. That second rate genuinely was cut this year, from 16% to 15%, and it drops again to 14% next year. That is a real cut, and I am not going to pretend otherwise. But look at what did not move. The thresholds: 18,200, 45,000, 135,000. Those lines are not indexed to inflation. They just sit there, while every wage in the country drifts upward past them. Let me show you what that does with the actual numbers. You earn $100,000. After tax and the Medicare levy, you take home $77,480. Now you get the national average rise, 3.3%, $3,300. Except you do not get $3,300. That money lands on top of your income, so it is taxed at 30%, plus the levy. The tax office takes $1,056. You keep $2,244, 68 cents in the dollar. And to buy exactly what you bought last year, at 3.8% inflation, you needed $2,944. You got a pay rise. You are $700 worse off. And this is not an accident of 1 year. Over the coming decade, wages are forecast to grow 3.7% a year. Income tax receipts are forecast to grow 4.6%. The system is designed to outpace you. So how do you beat a game that is rigged three ways? You cannot set the cash rate. You cannot index the tax brackets. You cannot make the Bureau of Statistics print a better number. But there is one gap you own completely: the gap between your income and your ego. That is where the whole thing is won. This is the wedge strategy. 3 steps. Step 1. Freeze your baseline. The next time you get a rise, a bonus, or a new client, you do nothing. Nothing. You do not upgrade the car. You do not move. You do not quietly let the grocery shop get bigger. You artificially hold your entire lifestyle at your previous income level, and you decide in advance how long for. 90 days is enough to break the reflex. Because the danger window is not the year after the raise, it is the first fortnight. Step 2. Automate the delta. The delta is the difference between your old pay and your new pay, after tax. From the worked example, that was $2,244 a year, about $187 a month. That money must never touch your transaction account. Set an automatic transfer for the morning of payday, not the end of the month, when it has already been spent. Route it into an index fund, a high-interest savings account, or straight onto the mortgage principal. If you never see it, you never adjust to it. You are paying your future self before your present self gets a vote. Step 3. Reject the status tax. Understand what wealth actually is. It is not the car. Wealth is the money you did not spend, the assets, the buffer, and the ability to walk out of a job that is destroying you. Australian household saving is at 6.2%. The people quietly winning in this country are the ones running a personal number several times that, and they do not look like it at the traffic lights. Earning more money is a good goal. It is just not a plan. Without a system to capture it, a pay rise is a temporary dopamine hit that leaves you in a slightly more expensive cage. Prices took 0.5%. The tax office took 32 cents in the dollar, and lifestyle creep was waiting for whatever survived. Drive the wedge, automate the difference. Stop letting your lifestyle spend a pay rise you have not received yet. If this changed how you read your payslip, hit like and subscribe to Behind the Money. Every week we break down the financial systems built to keep you exactly where you are and show you how to beat them. I'll see you in the next one.